Another round, please.
Oh, how very Keynesian of you, paying for other people's food. I'm surprised you aren't broke yet.
Hey, Ritik, you heard of the 10-year challenge thing going around on Facebook and Instagram these days?
Well, I don't know what a snap face is, but I know it sounds painful.
Nah, broski, Facebook, it's social media. It's the whole internet, dude. It's the lit new thing, totally on fleek. You just gotta look at yourself 10 years ago compared to how you look now. It's totally sicko mode, dude.
Well, it certainly sounds more enjoyable than listening to you for the rest of the night. But 10 years seems like an awfully short time for us old-timers.
Word, dude. I guess we're not going to limit ourselves to like 10 years. We've had a pretty banging time for like the past century, dude.
Quite. Our ideas have battled quite a bit.
Bro, remember back in like the 30s when I like single-handedly saved the economics world?
Hi, I'm FDR, and I have polio. I'm not the smartest fellow in the world, but I can sure pick smart colleagues. Thanks to John Maynard Keynes and his ideas about demand-side economics, we single-handedly saved the economics world. America is great again.
Dude, remember how bad things were back then? I was surprised the whole government didn't like shut down or something.
Oh, yes, shame. Shame that didn't work out too well in the 70s, though, now did it? I wonder who ended up saving the day then.
Friedrich Hayek was one of my biggest influences in Reaganomics. We're all Hayekians now.
Yeah, bro, but where were you during that wild 2008 thing?
Keynesian politics really got us out of a sticky situation. Good thing I had my massive stimulus package. Isn't that right, Joe?
That's all well and good, but that cost was paid by the taxpayer. Could have been better located by the people instead of the government.
You used to call me on the cell phone. Some people dance like this. Call me on the cell phone.
And
Live from Reese's basement, it's 1516 Econ!
Alright, pleased to meet you today.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Going fantastic.
So today, we're going to show you the newest car on the market with the most efficient miles per gallon.
Is it a Chevy?
No.
Is it a Ford? Did Detroit put out a nice car?
Even better.
Alright, baby. Let's see it. Let's go USA, baby.
Alright. Yeah.
That's not a Ford. What is that?
This is a Subaru.
What's a Subaru?
Japanese car.
Japanese car. No.
Wait, come back.
No, sir.
Come back.
That is not a good car.
Alright.
No.
How many miles per gallon does your car have?
Like 6, 7 maybe on a good day. 5 usually. It's pretty good. Not too bad.
Well, this has 18.
Okay. Maybe it's a fancy Japanese car. It gets 18, but that definitely is like $100,000 car. That's for like the rich people.
Okay. How much was your car?
It's $20,000.
This one was 12.
No. No, that's a lie. That's not 12. That's like,
Yes, it is.
that's the base model price. That one's like 36.
No, this one is 12.
I mean, money is tight. Maybe the Japs have a good car. Thank you.
Today we'll be discussing supply-side theory and its contrast, Keynesian economics. These two theories have been the topic of major debates over the years, as they each advocate wildly different approaches to solving recessions. First of all, what is supply-side theory? Supply-side theory is defined as a macroeconomic theory arguing that economic growth can be most effectively created by lowering taxes and decreasing regulation. Many prominent politicians throughout the history of the U.S. have used the tactics advocated by supply-side theory in times of economic trouble, but none so famously as Ronald Reagan. This is why a common nickname for this theory is Reaganomics. In the 1980s, former President Ronald Reagan used supply-side theory concepts created by Robert Mundell and his administration, such as lowering taxes and loosening regulation to allow for greater economic mobility and adaptability. This resulted in notable economic growth across his 2 terms in office. The theory claims that if there is an increase in tax cuts, this will incentivize workers, which will stimulate the output. Let's go take a look at our ADAS graph. If tax cuts increase, producers will naturally make more output, causing the aggregate supply to shift right in the short run. Supply-side theory economists believe that demand can't save you from a recession because aggregate demand is not vertical, unlike aggregate supply. They claim that an increase in production will lower costs due to less scarcity, which will then in turn increase purchases. Now what about Keynesian economics? Keynesian economics is a theory of total spending in the economy, or aggregate demand, and its effects on output and inflation. Up until the end of the Great Depression, the only concept around was Adam Smith's classical economics, which argued that government intervention should be minimized and that the economy should take the laissez-faire approach. However, John Maynard Keynes brought a new form of economics. Keynesian theory claims that shifts in aggregate demand, whether it be anticipated or unanticipated, have their largest impact on real output, or real GDP, and employment rather than prices. This concept is proven through the Phillips curve. Let's go take a look. You'll notice as the aggregate demand shifts right on the ADAS graph, the inflation will also increase as unemployment decreases. Keynesian economics also includes the multiplier effect. The multiplier effect states that output increases by a multiple of the original change in the spending that caused it. For Keynesian economics to work, the multiplier obviously must be greater than 0. Let me show you an example. Though both systems clearly have great merit, the extreme differences between the suggestions each offer in any given situation means that politicians around the world have been arguing about which was the best since their invention. Regardless, one thing that's certain is that the argument will continue today. We've got some amazing guests. Soul, our musical guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, Soul.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Totally Real News, with some big events to talk about today.
So the government has been in shutdown for the past 30 days now. This is the longest in U.S. history. In other words, our government has been taken over by the Austrians. Our president seems to be attempting to compensate for the loss of furloughed workers with fast food and burgers, hoping that somehow the economy will bring itself back into order with a side of French fries and a chicken maple sandwich from Wendy's.
Alright, look, Trump may love his fast food, but his negotiations on the border wall seems to be as weak as whatever's left in his belt after eating all those hamburgers.
Also, my main man DT, he isn't holding back on his fight for the border wall. Recently, he demanded around $6 billion and used the DACA program as a bargaining chip for his funding. Quite Keynesian of him to back up his spending like this.
Donald Trump's recent tax cuts were the largest in U.S. history since Reagan's, following the Second World War. He's banking that the cuts will motivate the American worker, and that corporations will reinvest in capital gain and grow the economy. Somehow, this is just as controversial as when Reagan did it.
Okay, so my main man, Mr. Toughest Texas, recently spoke on CNN to brag about our high rate of economic growth, right around 5%, and incredibly low economic rates. He seems to be bragging about the fact that his government is pushing toward a bubble. And then he went on to say that his tax cuts were probably the most substantial change that Trump's administration has brought. Again, another piece of us pushing toward a bubble that is bound to burst.
Tough Texan Ted Cruz is really liking those supply-side Keynesian policies.
Oh yes, he is.
But you gotta keep in mind that bubbles do burst, and good growth doesn't always last.
Trump's recent economic practices have shown an edging away from the Keynesian policies implemented by the Obama administration. It instead has been headed toward a more supply-side system. Oh, guys, come on. We're not out here trying to say that Arnold Schwarzenegger was sent back in time by the Austrians, disguised as Donald Trump, to take over the U.S. government and implement the Austrian economic policies. But all I'm going to say is, have you ever seen Donald Trump and Arnold in the same room? All I'm saying is that I have seen Terminators 2 and 3. I'm out here watching you, Arnold.
In the midst of the government shutdown, we've learned that the donkeys and elephants are as polar in their public opinion as they've ever been from compromise.
Okay, so we might not be in an economic crisis right now, but if there isn't change and our government doesn't start working properly, this dysfunction might show a trend that's going to lead back to something like 2008.
Alright, let's take a look somewhere else in the economic crisis. France is the second largest economy in the EU behind Germany, and recent riots have made this crisis really obvious. Flames rage in the street, police and civilians crash, and even French boxers have joined in the fight, as people lose their ability to pay for basic necessities. We have our correspondent.
France is going through a really tough time here, guys. France has been suffering from high unemployment, low competitiveness, and a low GDP growth since the 2008 financial crisis. The government, which had cut spending to meet European Union deficit targets, had been targeting a growth of 2% for 2018. But rising oil prices, a strong euro, and threats of a global trade war, and political uncertainties in Europe are slowing this country's growth. France has two options to fix this: cut taxes and allow for more consumer spending money to enter the market, or to disobey the European Union and try and spend their way out of it using the multiplier effect. Either way, doing nothing is not helping here. This is Totally Real News French correspondent Brendan Neal signing off.
Thanks, Brendan, and that's a Buffalo Chicken wrap of this segment from Totally Real News.
We'll see you later.
I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. To graph them is my real test, to learn them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Each Pokecon to understand the theory that's inside. Pokecon, gotta graph them all. It's you and me. I know it's my economy. Pokecon, always these shifts left, and recession will stabilize. Pokecon, gotta graph them all. A model so true. Our policies will pull us through. Expansionary fiscal spending, crowding out. Gotta graph them all. Gotta graph them all. Pokecon. Oh boy, I can get my Pokecon from Professor Edwards today! Woo! Hi, Professor.
Congratulations, Tyler. You're finally old enough to get your first Pokecon. Follow me. This is Keynes, this is Hayek, and this is Friedman.
I think I'm gonna choose...
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Milton Friedman!
Aren't you forgetting about someone, Gramps?
Aw, geez. It's my grandson, Matt. He's also choosing a Pokecon today.
I choose Keynes because he's obviously the best choice.
Oh yeah, well I'll be the best Pokemon trainer. I'm choosing Hayek.
This is your Pokédex. This will help you find lots of new Pokecon to train.
I'm gonna try out my new Pokédex.
Keynes is the demand-side Pokecon. This Pokecon's strength relies on active stabilization and the power of the government spending multiplier to help stabilize any economy during times of recession.
Fine, I'll use my Pokédex to see what my Pokecon's like.
Hayek is the supply-side Pokecon. This Pokecon relies on the strength of markets and hails from the Austrian school of Pokecon. This Pokecon imposes active stabilization and deficit spending.
I think we should have a Pokecon battle to see whose theories are stronger.
Alright, I'll show you who's the best Pokecon trainer around.
Alright, let's take this outside, you piece of deadweight loss.
Keynes, I choose you!
Hayek, I choose you!
Keynes, use the multiplier!
Go, Hayek. Use high-income tax cut.
No! Keynes, hit him with demand-side economics. My Keynes is able to use deficit spending in order to stimulate the economy in times of economic downturn. This tactic will prove to support those hurt by the downturn more directly rather than relying on big business and higher income earners to spread their wealth.
Hayek, use supply-side economics. With this move, Hayek cuts taxes on higher income citizens, as well as lowers regulation. This allows Hayek to stimulate the economy from the top and maintain a stable dollar.
They're both such talented Pokecon trainers. This battle should prove to be very interesting.
My Keynes uses historical analysis. Keynes used his economic theory during the time of the Great Depression to bolster the economy and decrease unemployment to get our country out of a bad place.
They both fought so hard that the battle raged long into the night.
Oh yeah? Well, I'll counter your attack with my own historical analysis. My Hayek supply-side theory was crucial to saving the Reagan administration from the stagflation, using the power of the Laffer curve, decreasing taxes and increasing tax revenue. My Hayek was able to get us out of one of the darkest periods in American history, increasing the value of the dollar and lowering unemployment.
Matt, Tyler, we need your help. Team Rocket's trying to put us into a recession.
Looks like we're gonna have to team up and use both of our economic theories.
It's compromise time.